I just stumbled on something on Facebook the other day that made me think about how I train with horses and how I think about horses. And what I read on Facebook was about children. It was on a psychology page for children, and these two things goes very well together. How you are with children and how you are with horses. I always think of it like that. Not that I'm particularly good with kids though, but with horses it's easier. So when you punish a child for lying, you're actually not punishing the lie, okay? You're punishing the fear that the child have of you. A lie is not the first choice, it's a last resort. So since the kid is afraid of telling you the truth, they are afraid of your reaction to the truth. They are afraid of a reaction that might make them feel bad, that might put them in a position where they're gonna get a little bit of trouble. Therefore, they will tell you a lie. Now, when they tell you the lie and you find out, you might react the same way. You might get as angry with them as if they told you the truth. And this doesn't make the child want to tell you the truth, okay? This makes the child think, oh, okay, yeah, I am in trouble. And it might create a child that becomes better at lying or even more closed, or at least it's telling the child that what I feared is right because your reaction was making me fearful and your reaction was bad, okay? Now, when horses can't lie, but when you're with a horse and the horse makes a decision that doesn't fit into your plan, or it's not responding to your task and to your question the way you want it to, because they might be in a stressful state, they might be fearful of being in the arena or anything, because they are unbalanced in the nervous system. If they make a certain decision, let's say it, or that's probably not the best thing to say, but if they react in a way that you consider wrong and you punish them for it, you are now telling the horse that, yeah, you should be fearful of this. You're now saying, yeah, you can't trust me. Because if we don't make space for the wrong things and the wrong feelings, then we're not going to be able to change it. Now, you might think that if you scream at your horse or punish them in some kind of way when they are, in your eyes, acting up, but in my eyes, being fearful of the situation and fearful of you, you might say that, yeah, but it worked because the horse stopped, okay? Now, that's not the same thing as it worked. Just because you stopped the reaction in the situation doesn't mean that the horse is now changed, okay? In order for the horse to change, you need to be able to allow the horse to feel what it feels and help it where it's at. That also means that, yeah, the horse might react, the horse might say no, but if you don't allow the horse to say no, you're not going to get a good yes. A yes that will stay, a yes that can make you continue the good work, okay? Because you might get an overreactive horse, you might get a shutdown horse, okay? We don't want that. We want a horse that's completely okay with the things. And it's the same with people. If you want to be okay with things, you need to be able to listen to yourself and listen to yourself saying no. And you need to be able to cry when you need to cry and to be scared when you're scared. Because if you keep pushing it away and do the things anyway, I believe that later on, it will always show. If you don't allow the horse to feel what it feels, I believe it's difficult to change something in the horse. And you can easily get in trouble further on in their education because there's something that you never fixed, you just skipped it. If a horse can't feel its feelings, they no longer own their own feelings, they no longer own themselves, and that's kind of all what they have. And how I normally see it is that a horse doesn't think. We think a lot, but a horse doesn't think, okay? That's how I see it. I see that the horse always feels. They always feel what is the next right thing to do. A good colleague once told me this. Also for people, that's a good way of being. What's the next right thing to do? They're constantly thinking, what should I do next in order to survive, in order to feel good? Because that's their motivation, right? Their survival. If we can communicate in a way where we consider this, rather than thinking that the horse is against you or trying to play games with you or trick you, then you can easily take away from the horse what makes the horse a horse. And I believe that that's what we all love about horses, is the way they are. At least I think that's what we should do. Otherwise, I don't think we should be working with horses if we don't like them for that. If you just see them as a machine, then it's probably, this video probably won't make a lot of sense to you. But it goes both ways. The better you are at listening to your horse, the better you are at listening to yourself. And if you have difficulties listening to yourself, try and really focus on it when you're with your horse, to make space for everything. And if they have difficulties with something, check out if it's something else you need to work on before you ask this task, to make the horse feel better in themselves so they're ready to learn. And don't take it as a failure. Just take it as, this is something we need to work on so that we can get better and that my horse is more able to learn.